Hi, this is Paul. I'm still running the 24-hour streams. I now have 300. Well, this is iteration 1. I'm working on iteration 2 where I actually have more videos that I can put in, but I currently have about 330 videos in the hopper, and it randomly selects one and it will loop. So I'm hoping it selects one and then goes through and then selects them all, but I don't know exactly how it works. I'll probably have to continue to doing that. Rigel Thurston uses the free StreamYard, otherwise I would have done it simultaneously. But I asked for input on the 24-hour stream this morning, and this is what I got.
Anybody have any input on the? I'm running these 24-hour streams. It's interesting because people sort of stay there to chat, and
yeah, that is interesting. I noticed.
Because
I think that part is great.
Do you?
Yeah. The fact that there is a chat you could the hive mind can always kind of pop into to see who's around. No, I think that's the surprise hidden feature, the hidden bonus we didn't expect would happen.
Yeah.
So just to make that better, if you do drop in the stream, just say hello or knock knock or who's there or something like that. Because sometimes I monitor it during the day. I want to make sure that I'm just curious the way it goes. I'm going to talk about this a little bit, but a little bit more of this. But if you're not, Rigel runs streams once a week or once every 2 weeks or so. And so if you can, I'll put the link to this video below. So if you want to find another TLC channel that runs open streams that you can jump in and talk about what you want to talk about, Rigel has one too. And it's maybe what I should actually do is just put a list of them in the notes, in the show notes, so that people can always find them. You know, I've put them on websites before and things like that, but I want to make them possible so that people who want to participate in this way can find them.
Can you say more about that? Because I think I've seen some of these streams, but I haven't actually gone to them.
What I've done is, so my sister started these 24/7 streams of the stuff that she does. And I have so much back catalog,
Mm-hmm.
and
So much great back catalog.
Randos. I mean, I've got like three. I got like 3 Sherry randos from like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and it was fun. This morning, I kind of like it myself to pop in because I'll listen for like 10 minutes of a video that otherwise I won't encounter. And I'll remember someone, or like this morning I popped in and I've got them randomized. So it was my first conversation with Cassidy. And it was so interesting listening to that. So I just started playing with it because I didn't want to get a service, and services wouldn't. I have so much back catalog that I looked at these services and they just don't give you enough storage for the amount of content that I have. So I'm just streaming them from a computer in my office 24/7, and I'm playing around. I want to get some Freddie and Paul shows in there, and I want to get sort of the full Randos catalog in there. So I'm kind of working on that bit at a time. But I mean, I kind of
just thinking you got to be really careful with this stuff because you don't want to put stuff you're going to get copyright strikes on. So you got to make sure it's your content. And maybe I'll throw some branding in there too. That could be fun to have them interspersed between the videos.
Like it, but I don't know if it has any value for others, and so that's
well, it does. The first thing that comes to my mind, Paul, is that as of late, I have spoken to several people who've kind of taken a step back from the corner because there are a lot of new faces, and it's not the faces that made them do that. It's the regurgitation of the content. Because what happens is people discover the corner, and then they want to talk about these things that are opening up for them, which for some of us was 5 years ago. And so, you know, not to be rude or ignorant, you sit there and watch it, but you're like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's been thoroughly hashed out, like for like 4 years, right? Yeah. Some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think it's informative to those people who are fairly new to the corner to be able to go back and say, oh, look, they talked about that. Oh, isn't that interesting? These are the questions I had. And I would highly recommend people do it because it'll give you, I think it'll give you more of an idea of what this place is built on instead of just kind of a circular conversation that doesn't really ascend. Maybe is the word I'm looking for. Does that make
almost
sense?
Sounds liturgical in the sense of you're reading the lives of the saints.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. So Chemo works with me at Living Stones. Chemo came to church basically because he found me on the internet when he was sick. And so he plays the piano and he makes the bulletin. So he does these things at Living Stones. So I asked him about it, and he said he liked it because it's sort of like he hears me say a bunch of things there that he's never heard me say. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, Sherry, because I don't say a lot of the things I used to say because I've said them, and I don't feel like I want to repeat them.
No, I know.
But they're all back there, and there are, even just sort of dipping in every now and then during the day, there's some really wonderful moments in those old conversations.
Oh. Yeah. And they were happening at a very historically critical moment where people were desperately confused, not just about their faith, but about the state of the world. Yeah. It was all really blossomed during the COVID lockdowns and stuff, right? So there was a lot of brutal honesty actually in those randos.
Matt, what was the back channel chat part of this that you were talking about?
Just the hive mind for the live videos. The fact that you have kind of like a live stream always running means that if you can talk to whoever is watching at the same time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You just pop in there kind of live. You're not responding to old comments. You're in that.
It's almost like sitting around.
Yeah. Jump into the live chat and talk to whoever's watching with you. And this is one of the things that I've noticed as I'm kind of popping into other streams and whatnot. Matt C was interviewed in a kind of like a different corner recently, and I popped in and watched that premiere live. And it's just the hive mind was dead. It was boring. I was trying to chat with some folks, and it was just no.
That is the real difference when I was on the podcast comments from all the normal accounts. And to me, that shows a level of community, a level of interest. And that's actually, when it comes to the internet, that's real power. And I don't mean power in a negative sense, because when you start a channel in the corner, you might not get thousands of subs right away. You might not even hit 1,000. You might not be able to monetize. But most of these channels, they'll get 100, 200, 300 subs pretty quickly, just because you've participated in other channels. And so again, the real emphasis here is the community.
Oh, no kind of interesting engagement. I think we don't always kind of appreciate that this corner has generated a really interesting personal comment section.
Yeah. Do you think it's like sitting around a campfire?
Oh yeah, they're not necessarily talking about what's going on the video.
No, they're looking into it like
Connecting with
flames,
each other,
and then connecting on the side.
Yeah.
No, I actually think it's great, Paul. I'm really glad you're doing it. I think it's a good idea.
I'll keep playing with it then. I'm still, it's a lot of content, but it's not I'm just kind of thinking about how to
order it.
What's that? How to what?
How to order it, or what?
How to keep it fresh. Sometimes I'm thinking about doing different mixes sometimes. Like right now, part of the thing is I have to reformat a bunch of videos so that they're consistent. So that, like in some of the streams, you'd see a randos come on and you'd see one person over here and then nothing over there. And because not all the videos are the same format. YouTube would just reformat them and it would all look fine on the screen. But how I'm doing it, there's some technical challenges. So I'm just trying to work out those angles and then just
That's a lot of work.
No, it's not a lot of work, and it's little things that I like playing with technology. So I like playing with these things and seeing if I can do them. But I want to know that it has, if it doesn't have any value for anybody else, I don't know if it's worth the value for me. Although I have, again, for me, it's sort of reminded me of kind of the early days of the Bridges of Meaning Discord, where you kind of jump in and see who's there and chat with them a little bit. So I don't know. So,
yeah. I mean,
I will say one other potential, not quite negative point, but it does make your channel feel a little bit more kind of like cluttered, Paul.
yes.
Just because that's always going on there. I think I was trying to catch up on a homeroom video, and I'm like, I don't know how to find, or it took a little bit more effort to find like your talkie video from a couple days ago. And so, but that's just
it's really important to, when you go to a channel, let's just go to Rigel's channel. So you can open up a new tab. I was talking to my sister about this because my sister's audience is mostly women over 60 and not too YouTube savvy. A few years ago, she had a problem. She was getting all these comments that was basically saying, why do your videos only go a minute? And she was like, her videos go a half hour, an hour or something. Why would they say that? I said, it's because they're sitting on their smart TV and your video comes up and it starts playing. Or why do your videos have no sound? And it starts playing it, just a little animated thing. And they're supposed to click on it to get through to it. And they didn't know that. So she made a video teaching them how to, if you're watching this on a smart TV and it comes up, click on the video and you'll get to see the whole video in the whole TV screen. So if you go to YouTube, one of the things to really look at is if you go to the channel page, if you go to videos, you can see latest videos, popular videos, oldest videos. Those are sort of fun little buttons to use. I guess I can make this full screen, make it a little bit easier. You go to shorts if they have shorts. He has shorts. I really haven't done anything with shorts. I'm not really that interested. Then you go to live. And so like when you go to Grim Grizz's channel, it's hard to find things necessarily because he does almost everything as a live stream. And then playlists, depending on how much they invest in playlists, and then posts if they're posting anything. So that's really important to know how to sort of navigate that if you're not used to that. Where are we here? Oh, okay.
Should you do a separate channel for it?
I was originally going to do a separate channel for it, but the problem is then nobody would find it.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty of a new channel, which Rigel knows. I mean, you started a live stream this morning and nobody jumped on, and that's why if I could have linked this to my channel, we get 3 or 4 more people in here.
Yeah.
That's Jeremy and I are finding that out with our Restoring Meaning channel.
I was going to say, I think there's an interesting synthesis happening. I'm just thinking about this, Paul, but you have kind of this old content that's for new people, and then you have this kind of in the moment live chat that is for kind of the old timers to come and just hang out. And I think there's some sparks happening.
Yeah.
Like it makes me want to go hang out now.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of a low bar of entry for people who are coming in out of the lurk.
Yeah. And it's also sort of unYouTube, because YouTube just keeps assaulting me with the most outrageous, the most clickable, the most, and this is like, it's the most thing. You're going to go and listen to a couple of randos talk about the home they grew up in or whatever they're dealing with in 2019. So it's very unYouTube. But I also wonder if there isn't, aren't people just sort of, I don't know, emotionally exhausted by social media, by the constant, and if I see another YouTuber with a face on their thumbnail, I want to kill myself.
Thank you. We are so punk rock.
And so I find it's just kind of nice to jump in there. I have 5 minutes. I jump in there, and it's like, okay, well, who's on right now? And for me, it's a little bit more personal because I've had all these conversations.
Yeah, totally.
Daniel French was on, and hardly anybody around here knows who Daniel French is. But it's Daniel French, and so for me, it's kind of like visiting old friends. But I don't know again if it's worth anyone else. So.
I think it is. I think it's really valuable. I really do.
Yeah,
I don't know if people would be like fully aware of its value, but I think it's the kind of value that just trickles in and is, penetrating in that way, right? Like it doesn't necessarily, that's why you're sick of the face thumbnails, because this is someone just like assaulting your senses. And that's really not the thing. It's like wallpaper. That's why I hate wallpaper, because it looks nice for a minute, and then after a while, the pattern drives you insane, right? But the things that are sublime and subtle, and those things, they transform you without your even realizing it. So I'm going with that argument there.
I'm going to read Joy's. During Chicago, I sat there as a neophyte in some ways and saw Job's wrestling as the embryonic wrestling, which informed Paul's posture and then consequently enriched my virtual catechism.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, I wonder if there's a way to somehow communicate. Like one of the things that I do when I'm like, I can't jump right onto someone's live stream when it starts is I'll, catch up on double speed until I kind of get enough of the conversation to get to the point where they are. But that's not, I don't know if that's really the best way to use this 24-hour stream. It almost sounds like the best way to use it is actually just to come in at the moment and be with the people and kind of engage in the live content that's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought you can do that. You can also, part of the reason I'm doing it, because you can't catch in all the time. But you can slide this back. This is a conversation I had with JP and John Vervaeke. And then I had, this was like my second or third conversation with Cassidy. And then Arul, who hasn't been around a lot, really sharp guy, used to ask really good questions. I had done 2 or 3 conversations with him. I've got like 6 or 7 conversations with Julian. And there's Daniel French. There's Mud Hut, my original conversation with her. My original conversation with Cassidy. That was so much fun. I watched some of that. My Tim B, who lives here in Sacramento. Michael L. Let's see. And so you can sort of go back over Mary. So yeah, I mean, for me personally, Preston Sprinkle. For me personally, it's quite meaningful because I know all these people to a degree, and of course probably a little bit more so than you guys. But I don't want to lose this spot because Nick was saying something here. I wanted to finish off this.
What about figuring out how to redo the videos so that there's a crawl or something on it so that people would have some context of what's on the screen? I think that would help, but I don't know.
Paul, I watch a lot of these, like, have you ever heard of the My Self-Reliance channel? You must know it. Oh gosh, okay, look it up. It's a guy building by hand, from scratch, all kinds of buildings. He started out with one homestead, then he had to leave because some people actually found out where he was, bought the property next to him, and blasted loud music and speakers. 24/7 in his direction. Can you believe it? And he was rural. So now he's at a
Don't do that to living stones. Actually, it happens all the time anyway, so.
different spot. But and so he started over. New house, new barns, new sauna, new and everything. But he does it all with no talking. And there is a lot of that on YouTube where it's like staring into the fire, right? People just, they go on. His videos are an hour long. There's very
My brother-in-law said, because I talk about this stuff with my sister and my brother-in-law and my mother and a little group chat that we have, and my brother-in-law said he fell asleep to the Randos channel last night and it had played all night. So I said, well, didn't commercials wake you up or anything? I don't know that YouTube puts commercials on these things, ads on these things in the middle of them. So
very little talking at all. Maybe sometimes he'll say an intro and an outro or something. Just him building, walking around, looking at things, scratching his head, measuring something. You know, he's got great camera angles. He was a cameraman for a TV studio, so he actually knows how to film and make it interesting, right? But people, have you noticed? This is another thing. Have you noticed silent commercials? You don't get, okay, you don't have. I've got commercials. I got commercials on YouTube. Okay.
Oh,
There's this new phenomenon where the commercials are silent.
really?
Silent. And it used to be the volume was way bigger, everything was bigger. It was just like, oh.
Now they're getting attention with silence.
Yes. And you're like, what is that? Why is, you know, look, I got my earbuds in. Why is it, where did the podcast go? And then you run over and look, oh, it's a silent ad.
I can get into that.
It's actually really, if you are a big picture person like me and you're watching these little waves, right? You're like, oh, this is so interesting. People are sitting there. They want to stare at a guy working all day in the bush. You know, the ads now are silent. You know, there's something, Paul, there's something about discovery that really.
Again, when we were playing with the Bridges of Meaning Discord server in the early days, one of the things I started is kind of the studios channel, where I said, you know, if you work somewhere, just turn on a camera where you're working. And I found that very interesting. It didn't work out well for me because whenever I was in it, people were like, you know, can I ask you a question? And I couldn't get any work done. And actually, this is a little disruptive of my work too, because it keeps my interest.
Intrigues the human being. We are seekers.
Yeah.
So if you start labeling all the videos, people go, I don't want to watch that. I don't know. Yeah. But if you don't label it, they'll go there just to find out what it is.
All right. Well, the labeling would be a big job. So
don't do it.
So
Don't do it. Just leave it.
I won't do it, especially won't do it now. So thank you for that. That's helpful.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
This is our 8-minute warning that we are needing to come in for a landing.
Because you've got the free StreamYard, so it's limited, right?
No, it's actually, my limitations are based on my fatherly duties to pick up my child in a few minutes.
All right.
But
So if you have feedback on this, if you haven't found it, if you go to, let's see, if you go to my channel page and you go to live, that's where you can, and you see this little thing that says live right here. I don't know why on my sister's there's a ring around her thing there that says live. I don't know why that is, because if you go to home,
He only had about 4,000.
I should probably redo this video at some point. But again, you have for you, this is what Algo, well, that's interesting. It's interesting what it thinks I should watch on my own channel. Then members only videos. And, oh, that's interesting. I never go to this page, popular videos. I have to find this video and put it into the mix. I don't know. I'm really curious to know if you've checked out the 24-hour stream And again, you can find it here. I haven't really sort of settled on on thumbnails. I'll probably play with those. You know, I like to tinker with this stuff because I'm really curious the kinds of responses that they get. So, oh yeah, and then I was watching. So Nick used to live in Santa Cruz. Now he lives in the Pacific Northwest. And again, he was talking and
to it. Educated opinion, I suppose.
Well, and what education is a system that collects around
Curation.
It's curation.
Yeah.
And
it's actually hilarious. This leads right into one of my notes, but one of the fundamental ways that we create these cultic structures is curation. And that, getting into Cult 4, that's almost all they did. You know, there was a little bit of actual material that, you know.
So you can find, there's a playlist of all my conversations with Nick out there. I just call him 4 Cult Nick. That way I don't have to use his last name. And there's a few Nicks in the corner, like Nick Freerillian. But and a lot of those conversations were fairly early on. He found me quite early. And his 4th cult was a Facebook cult. In other words, if you listen to his stories of his other cults, where he lived and what happened, they're quite interesting. But his 4th cult was a Facebook, and you know, his observation that to create a community, it requires curation, because then the community has some common content around it. Of course, this is one of the issues with the United States, and you know, we used to sort of have 3 television networks, and then the Bible was sort of this common thing that the nation had. And, you know, the King James Bible, especially the language. And so, again, these conversations are filled with little insights like that. And it's pretty amazing that you can just sort of drop in at random and get, you know, find something. Now, not always. Sometimes you have to listen for a little bit before something catches, but it's pretty interesting. So anyway, I'm just playing around with this. This wasn't the point of this video, so maybe I'm going to stop this here, and this will be a separate video to what I was going to talk about. So leave a comment.